Hi, John here. Welcome to Microaces Workshop once again, and part 7 of the Percee build. Um, in this particular episode, we are going to build the hatch, which is essentially the cockpit itself. It's a removable part, allows us access to the electronics and to plug in the battery for flight, and it's, as you can see, there are a few parts to it, and we've also got some other bits and pieces to add too. But it has a 2mm Depron frame, which we will construct first. It's a pretty simple process. What have we got here? V45, V44. So let's just bring those two parts together first. Using our normal methods of frame construction, a little bit of yoo-hoo in the areas that are required. Go. Sure everything sits squarely. The V46 has got a score in it which allows you to fold the part, so you get a bit of an uptick on the pointed part, and as you can see here on V45, the slot in which it goes is slightly angled there, so you can do it either way up. And obviously with the score, if you've got the score facing downwards, then it's easier for the material to actually bend upwards. So that actually should slot in to the slot provided on the back plate there, like so. So just dry fitting that, so let's get some glue onto the areas that are required. Just pop some glue at the entrance to that slot, and hopefully the mere act of sliding it in place will put the glue where it's needed. Oh, I've forgotten to put some on the back edge here. Let's do that. I should put it down on here, just guesstimate where it's supposed to be. That all together. Glue on the hands, just get that off. Go, and we've got a little spacer that slots up there. Let's just glue that in place. Go. And then we have these side pieces that just bring everything together, the edges there. So you want it nice and flush on the back there, and all of the underside to basically sit together. Repeat the process on the other side. Go. Once it's all together, you can set it aside, let the glue go off, and then we've got our framework. We can then attach our Tyvek 2. Fantastic. Good. Right. With the Tyvek itself, we can do some shaping of the parts. There's a you can either score, or because it actually doesn't bend particularly far, you can actually just sort of fold, if you like. This is quite a marked edge where the windscreen comes round from the side to the front. Obviously the roof of the cabin too. Okay. So what we can do whilst we're waiting for our 2mm to dry is firstly make sure any little tabs are cut in flush with the rest of the part. So and then these little castellated parts enable us to bring or shape this this cockpit area. So the aim here, actually probably goes on there. The aim here is to glue it so that the sort of the V into the material sits with the edge of the part, like so. So let's just add a little glue to the Tyvek. Now, hopefully by now you will have received the information, or it's, I mean, it should say in the manual as well, that Tyvek's not particularly keen on the solvents used in Yoo-hoo. It's not that it melts or anything like that, it just distorts. So what we want to do here is we want to wait for all that solvent to vent off before attaching the part to the Tyvek part to Tyvek part. Otherwise, what will happen is that any wet glue with solvent still in it will get trapped, and that solvent gets into the fibres of the material, causing those fibres to expand slightly, which can cause a sort of a blistering or a distortion of the material, and of course we don't want that. But just give it a few minutes for the glue to dry, and the problem goes away. And obviously, if you put a fairly thin layer on to start off with, it doesn't take that long to dry either. obviously there's less solvent there to dry, and if it's thin, there's less glue for it to go through. Although I think I've got maybe a little too thin there. That's better. So that's dry. How are we doing here? It looks like it's dry. Make sure I get the right one. As you'll find out, Tyvek readily sticks with the Yoo-hoo. If you want at this stage, you can bend these tabs down slightly. It's just all about shaping everything in. Let's just get that onto our roof line. Bend these tabs down slightly. And I like to dry fit all the time just to make sure everything goes where it's supposed to before the final gluing. So what we can do now is just add some glue to these tabs. Once again, a fine smear so it dries quickly and doesn't cause the Tyvek any issues. Set to one side, on to the next one. There's always something to do. If you do get a bit too much on, you can always just wipe it away with your fingers and then rub your fingers on the board just to get it off the fingers. So set that aside to dry. In the meantime, what else have we got that we can do? I think we'll pause for a little while, wait for those to dry, because there are some important steps that we need to take that I don't want to do just yet. Okay, I think that's dried enough now. We'll just bring those edges together on that part. Just keep shaping these as required. But obviously, because the glue is dry, it's an instant grab. And then we can move on to the next. And here we are, paper modeling again. Fantastic. There we go. Quite satisfying. This is probably the most sophisticated shape we're going to make on this particular kit. So it's good fun. It was good fun designing it too. Right. Now, the roof line. So we're going to pop some glue on either side of the center split in the roof. Like so. And the one part we are going to score is this little sort of almost like arrow feathers, and we're just literally going to go down the center of that, the points of that indicating where the center is, just using the back of the knife. Then whilst it's there, just going to use the opportunity to fold it. There we go. Right, now our double castellated strip, I'm going to try to get so it's half and half. Now there is a slight curve to this, so hence why it's castellated on both sides, so it can accommodate that. And just going to, once it's sat, fold those tabs down a little. So, then I'm going to attach that little item we just scored, and that should sit in the middle of the windscreen, like so. So once again, a little bit of glue. We'll just pop some on the other side as well, so that that's ready to attach. Just going to put a little more on that roof line. Just looks like we didn't go right to the edge with that. Go. Bit. Okay. So bring that together. Just fold that scored piece down. Okay. And now we should be able to bring the two halves together. We'll start at the rear of the roof line. Just trying to keep those edges together. Like so. And bring the windscreens together in the middle too. And it's okay if you see a little bit of the underlying joining piece. Certainly between the windscreens, there's a little poking out here, which I can actually remove with the knife, just to tidy it up. Let's do that. I'm just going to go to the edge here, so you probably won't be able to see this. So there we have a little cockpit hatch, and of course it supports itself well on its own, but because it's constantly put on, put off, and we need some magnets that we're going to pop into these holes here too. It needs that framework. The last part of this is just adding some reinforcements to the bottom of the windscreen, because these are basically out in the fresh air, so to speak. So we just need to glue those two parts along the bottom there. Once again, add the glue, and then we're going to let it dry and pop those parts on. Now, whilst that's drying, there's another part that goes on here that I decided to add after building the Percee Militaire, so that part didn't come with this kit either. So what I'm going to do, it's essentially some plastic reinforcement for either side of this this little bulge here, which actually allows you to sit that onto the fuselage. That little bulge actually pops under the foredeck, and then helps hold everything in place. And it just needs a little bit of reinforcement to stop it cracking or breaking, and that's done with the plastic. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use a scrap piece. In fact, I'm going to use some of the hinges that we've got here. There are 8 of them. You only actually need 6 for the kit, so there are some spares. So I'll use those, but there will be a specific part that's more shaped appropriately for the for that little bulge catch there. So I'm just going to place one either side. It's kind of the same shape, but the part you'll have, which will obviously be shown on the instructions, will also have that upward return on the bulge, rather than just a plain old lozenge like this is. So they're essentially acting as unsophisticated splints for that area. There we go. Right, let's finish off the cockpit. Right. Mr. Porter, get it together. So obviously the closer you can get it to the bottom edge of the windscreen, the better. Go, toughens it up. Let's try and get this side. That's it. Marvelous. Okay. Moment of truth. Sit that on there. Obviously what we want is for the side windows to sit neatly either side, like so, which I think we're kind of getting away with. So that's fantastic. So notice that this side part, V47, has kind of slipped back a bit there, so I'm actually just going to manhandle it into place. That's the beauty of this vector board, is it's just so flexible and tough that it allows you to do things like that. Right. Now what I'm going to do is apply some glue to the framework, and then we can fit the skin over it. So once again, thinking on about how Tyvek reacts with the solvent in Yoo-hoo. So I'm going to be fairly sparing, but also obviously we're going to give this time to dry off before we bring the skin onto it. And also with skinning, the places that we want the skin to adhere to the most and stay adhered to are the sort of the bottom edges of the part, the back edge, all the places that if it comes adrift, it looks unsightly and obviously can cause issues as well. So good. I think I've got it everywhere I need it. So it's just a matter of waiting now for that glue to thoroughly dry before adding the skin to it. So that's what we'll do. I'll just pop you on pause and I'll go make myself a cup of tea. Tea made. Right. Oh, it's a little bit chilly in here today. Oh, cheers. Oh, lovely. Right. Should be dry now. All looks pretty good. So let's do it. So I'm just going to sort of lightly position the vital areas there, and then bring that over, come to bear on this side too. Look, it's come loose from that side, so let's just bring that down too. Works a bit like sellotape or scotch tape when the Yoo-hoo's dry with Tyvek, which is useful because it's repositionable. There we go. I'm pretty happy with how that's all gone down. Fabulous. Good. So once I'm happy with that, you can see it's quite flexible there. So the idea is that will sit onto the foredeck of the aircraft, and you can shape it so that you reduce any gap there may be. Good. Well, let's give it a go. Let's just pop it on just to see where we are, if we need to make any further adjustments. So it sits really nicely. Oh, I'm very happy with that. And that'll settle in as well. Make a few sort of bend adjustments. There's a little bit of foam poking up there, so I can have a bit of a play with that. Maybe unstick this. And then bring that down a little further. There we go. Great stuff. Okay, so the other thing we need to do is apply some magnets to, and that scraping sound is Percy, the dog, demanding that I fill his water bowl. So I've made my tea, so I guess I'm going to have to go and give him his water. Hang on a second. Yeah, there. He's got his water now. Okay, so magnets. The magnets that go in here, we don't have any backing to this, but there's a little trick we can use. What I'm going to do is just add a blob of glue into the hole itself, just so we get some into the sort of around the rim. There we go. And we'll let that dry off. But what we can do, actually, whilst it's drying, it doesn't matter. If I get my sticker pack, that's a new sticker pack, although obviously we have used some stickerage already. There's a rethink on the nose colour, so I've done a whole new sticker pack. I've also, you may remember if you've seen the construction of the nacelles, there was a little golden strip that we put around there. Well, I've actually integrated that into the graphics now. It seemed silly to have the debonair have one cutting system and the militaire a different one. So we've harmonized that now. Anyway, so S7s are our magnet stickers. So let's just grab one of those. There we go. And what I'm going to do, using my non-magnetic forceps, tweezers, I'm just going to position one of those into the center of the sticker. Then I'm going to add that sticker with the magnet on the back into the hole. There we go. It's as easy as that. I'll show you again, because I can. See if I can get this one to go as smoothly. So, off comes the sticker. Pop on the magnet. And then sticker and magnet over the hole. There we go. Apart from the clumsy hands, that went very well. So those are held in place. And now onto the hatch itself. Obviously we do have some backing on this, which is one of the framework parts that sits and partially covers the holes anyway. So we'll just add a little bit of the yoo-hoo into the hole once again. And we'll use the same technique. But this time, obviously, we have got to make sure that our magnets correspond. So what we don't want to do is put the hatch on and it immediately flip off, because the magnets are repelling. So there's a way we can do this. We'll get our sticker, just lay it down on the board. Easier said than done. Oh, it's stuck to me now. Let go. There we go. We'll take our our magnet. I'm going to place my last magnet onto the knife so I know where it is. And then I'm just going to pop the magnet onto there. So that's the orientation it should be on the within that hole there. I'm just going to slide my knife behind there. So I've got it like so. Now, I'll need to get that onto the sticker with that side facing down. So let's use my tweezers, pop it onto the sticker, and the sticker plus magnet into the hole. There we go. So that should that retracts. And there we go. It pulls out the magnet. Oh, Mr. Porter, what have you done? So let's extract that from there. Let's not try that again. So, once the glue's dry, you can try that. But at least we know it attracts. So let's do that again. Just because it's so much fun. So lay our sticker down. Really wants to hold on, doesn't it? Obviously good adhesive. There we go. Right, where did I put that magnet? Ah, onto there. Remove using the knife. Take off. Repeat the process. This isn't supposed to be a comedy or a comedy of errors. So go. Right, let's try that again. Not quite central. That's better. And that's really going to annoy those of you who are a little OCD, I know, with the the numbers at different angles, upside down, etc. But up to you. I'm not too bothered. So there we have the hatch completely built, and we will put that on once we're happy that the glue on the magnets has dried off and is holding it in position. So good. Now onto the nose. So let's get all the parts together. I'll be back in a sec. So here we go. Got our parts here. I've changed my blade. It was getting a little bit blunt. It has been abused over the last few days, cutting out stickers and trimming various parts to go onto the laser. So it was feeling a little horrible. And having a nice sharp blade at this stage is good news, because what I discovered during this build, and as you've probably seen from the build of the nacelles, this 2mm stuff actually carves quite well. It's certainly carves better than it sands. So I've got into that recently, but you do need a nice sharp blade. So these are the nose parts. The center hole is so that you can line them all up as you stick them together. So that's what we'll do. And what I'm going to do actually is, as I've explained before in one of the other videos, because of the way the laser cuts, the laser sort of splays out as it cuts through the material. So you tend to have a larger gap at the back than you do at the front, which means that you've got a slight taper on the parts themselves. So I'll use that to my advantage and use the front of the part, which has got the part number engraved on, as the back. So we get that taper coming forward. So line up the holes. Obviously make sure it all sits square, and then just keep going until the nose is built. Now, once we've got this together, I prefer to do the carving of the nose off the fuselage. to start off with. It just makes it easier because it's easier to handle, essentially. You don't have a whole aircraft behind the nose to have to deal with. Okay. So I've got all the holes nicely lined up, as you can see, hopefully. Everything looks to be sequential. I'll just put the final piece on. Obviously, there's no point putting any glue in the middle of it because there's an hole. We'll just go around the sides. Pop it on top. So we now need to leave that to actually dry before we attempt to carve it, because we don't want all the parts sliding around all over the place. So I think that's probably a good opportunity to pause for a while. Oh, it's lunchtime, so I'll go off and have a bite to eat, and be back with you to get handy with this scalpel. Right, our little nose piece is dry, and you can, and I'm probably going to do this on several occasions, just offer it up to the nasal area, and so I can make sure that my carving is working well. So what I'm going to do with the knife is literally just try and create some flat sides from this stepped arrangement at the moment. Probably the easiest one to do first is the underside. Just by because what I want is that the back edge here I will retain, and moving forward from there I shall sort of slice off the corners. Now I'm not going to do it all at once. I'm just going to start by gently going across and removing the corners. So it's still stepped, but less so. Just get rid of the swarf, and then just keep doing it, and using that sort of slicing action. Or almost a sawing action, rather than trying to push the blade through the material. And when you've got a nice sharp blade, it goes through it almost like butter. If you haven't got a sharp blade, it's horrible. It's almost worth changing your blade just for this moment. And like with the nacelles, we do have a sticker, or a couple of stickers that go on this, and in fact on the sticker pack I've provided two stickers. But what I've found is actually applying one sticker over the other, you get it starts to look more even, because of course the sticker material is very thin. Obviously weight saving as much as anything else, but gone quiet, concentrating. It's actually it might be worthwhile just stacking up a bunch of offcuts and having a bit of a practice. And if you want to get this done really well, you can actually, I mean, it's all coming out quite flat, but you can actually obviously curve it slightly as you take material away. So I'm at quite a sort of an upright angle, and I'll rotate around to take material off further towards the nose. And just gradually taking material away until those steps disappear and I've got a nice flat surface, a bit like a pyramid. Stuff is very static. Flies all over the place. So I doubt whether you want to watch me just carve away this tiny piece of foam. So I'll crack on and bring you back if I've got anything interesting to say, or when I've completed it. So I've created a mess. I'm now happy with how I've carved it. I'm just using a sanding stick to sort of just smooth things off where there are a few hacked marks that I put into it. Doesn't have to be particularly elegant, just shaped well, because obviously the sticker's going to go over and hide a lot of this. But what I've also been doing is just holding it up just to check that fit is good, that the lines match up with the lines on the fuselage, the various angles. It's all looking very good. It's quite therapeutic, really. Quite therapeutic when it all goes right. It's not so when you're struggling. I appreciate that. So just round out the nose. So it's not so stark. See how that looks. That looks pretty good. So let's just get rid of all this cut. If I can. Leaping around all over the place. Into the bin. Into the bin. So we have our nose piece. We have our, that's not the sticker pack I want, that's the sticker pack I want. There we go. And we have our nose stickers, so S5 and S6. S6 is to go on first, actually. And that's to go right over the center of the nose itself. Let's just peel that off. In fact, let's get our tweezers rather than our scalpel. Scalpels can be sticker unfriendly. So we're going to position that over the nose itself, and I'm just going to tease the sticker down from the top around, and in fact sort of pull it round so that it forms a bit of a cone. Trying to reduce any gap we've got, and then just smooth the sticker down. You might get a few wrinkles in it, but we're going to go over it again with a with another sticker. Yeah, I mean, you can, using a hard surface like the metal of the knife handle, you can make a pretty good job of getting that nice and flat. And then we have this larger S5 sticker, which should be relatively easy to get off. It's not particularly difficult in its shape, but just be careful because obviously the stick material is thin. Okay, and that positions itself so that pinnacle there sits at the center middle of the nose. So let's see if we can get this position right. You can do this with it on the aircraft if you like. Let's just revert to fingers. Take that to the edge there. That's the edge. Other side. And then this one has a little tab on it that should wrap round first. So what you want to do is bring that down the side of the nose. You want to cover as much as possible. That's actually not covering as much as I'd hoped. So what I'm going to do is just peel this off and move it back slightly. So there'll be a bit of an overlap back there. Well, that's fine, because that's going to go over the fuselage anyway, so. Try a different approach. That side on. That the underside there. Form around. Seems to be going quite well. Down that side. And then back under. So there we have our nose covered. Fantastic. Not too many wrinkles. And now I'm going to just pop that on to the nose itself. You can see we've actually got a few overlaps at the top there. Hopefully those will go down onto, just offer that up, they will just stick down onto the top nose piece there. So let's just get some glue. I'll put some glue on the fuselage rather than on the nose. That will make it easier for us. More snow. Okay, good, good. And the other thing you can do, if your sticker has gone down not as well as you'd hoped, then you can overlay it with the second sticker, adding more protection and giving you another chance to get the part in, to get the surface nice and smooth. See if we've got any glue on. That's good. And I'm just going to add a little glue to the back of the sticker just to give it that extra stickability. And then of course let that all dry off, because that's going to go against some Tyvek. And bring it all together. Let's whilst we're here, let's just pop our hatch on, just to admire the fit. So there we go. I'm quite happy with that. It could maybe sit a little bit lower. I could do a little bit of sanding or trimming, but I'm pretty happy with how that looks. Let's just so there we go. See the effect. Turns out the camera's not dealing with that particularly well, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that looks. So right, I'll be back in a sec to finish off that nose. Right, glue's dry. Let's pop the nose on. There we go. I might go with the second sticker later on, to add. I've just got a tiny little gap at the side there. Nothing major. You certainly wouldn't see it while it's flying. On close inspection, somebody might pick you up on it, but that would be cruel. And apart from that, lovely. Right. So, hatch, nose, tail feathers. We've only got the wings left. So that'll be in the next episode. It's just, yeah, so on to the next episode. Wings will be going on, and we'll be hooking up the aileron servos, and then obviously we've just got the electronics to do, and we can get it in the air. So thanks ever so much for watching this episode. I hope your build is going as well as mine is, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.